how bad is the completely unrestricted model? So how much do you understand about that? There's been a lot of discussion about free speech absolutism.
Yeah.
How much, if that's applied to an AI system?
We've talked about putting out the base model, as at least for researchers or something, but it's not very easy to use. Everyone's like, give me the base model. And again, we might do that. I think what people mostly want is they want a model that has been RLHF'd to the worldview they subscribe to. It's really about regulating other people's speech.
Yeah.
Like people are
There's an
like,
implied,
when like in the debates about what showed up in the Facebook feed, I having listened to a lot of people talk about that, everyone is like, well, it doesn't matter what's in my feed because I won't be radicalized. I can handle anything. But I really worry about what Facebook shows you.
I would love it if there's some way, which I think my interaction with GPT has already done that, some way to, in a nuanced way, present the tension of ideas.
I think we are doing better at that than people realize.
The challenge, of course, when you're evaluating this stuff is you can always find anecdotal evidence of GPT slipping up and saying something either wrong or biased and so on. But it would be nice to be able to kind of generally make statements about the bias of the system, generally make statements about
there are people
nuance.
doing good work there. If you ask the same question 10,000 times and you rank the outputs from best to worst, what most people see is, of course, something around output 5,000. But the output that gets all of the Twitter attention is output 10,000.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think the world will just have to adapt to with these models, is that, sometimes there's a really egregiously dumb answer. And in a world where you click screenshot and share, that might not be representative. Now, already we're noticing a lot more people respond to those things saying, well, I tried it and got this. And so I think we are building up the antibodies there, but it's a new thing.
Do you feel pressure from clickbait journalism that looks at 10,000, that looks at the worst possible output of GPT? Do you feel a pressure to not be transparent because of that?
No.
Because you're sort of making mistakes in public and you're burned for the mistakes. Is there a pressure culturally within OpenAI that you're afraid it might close you up a little?
I mean, evidently there doesn't seem to be. We keep doing our thing,
So you don't feel that? I mean, there is a pressure, but it doesn't affect you.
I'm sure it has all sorts of subtle effects I don't fully understand, but I don't perceive much of that. I mean, we're happy to admit when we're wrong. We want to get better and better. I think we're pretty good about trying to listen to every piece of criticism, think it through, internalize what we agree with. But like the breathless clickbait headlines, try to let those flow through us.
What does the OpenAI moderation tooling for GPT look like? What's the process of moderation? So there's several things. Maybe it's the same thing. You can educate me. So RLHF is the ranking, but is there a wall you're up against, like where this is an unsafe thing to answer? What does that tooling look like?
We do have systems that try to figure out, try to learn when a question is something that we call it refusals, refuse to answer. It is early and imperfect. We're, again, the spirit of building in public and bring society along gradually. We put something out. It's got flaws. We'll make better versions. But yes, the system is trying to learn questions that it shouldn't answer. One small thing that really bothers me about our current thing, and we'll get this better, is I don't like the feeling of being scolded by a computer.
Yeah.
I really don't. A story that has always stuck with me, I don't know if it's true, I hope it is that the reason Steve Jobs put that handle on the back of the first iMac, remember that big plastic bright colored thing, was that you should never trust a computer you couldn't throw out a window.
Nice.
And of course, not that many people actually throw their computer out a window, but it's sort of nice to know that you can. And it's nice to know that this is a tool very much in my control. And this is a tool that does things to help me. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that with GPT-4. But I noticed that I have a visceral response to being scolded by a computer.
Mhm.
And I think, that's a good learning from deploying or from creating the system, and we can improve it.
Yeah, it's tricky. And also for the system not to treat you like a child.
Treating our users like adults is a thing I say very frequently inside the office.
But it's tricky. It has to do with language. Like, if there's like certain conspiracy theories you don't want the system to be speaking to, it's a very tricky language you should use. Because what if I want to understand the Earth? If the Earth is the idea that the Earth is flat, and I want to fully explore that, I want GPT to help me explore.
GPT-4 has enough nuance to be able to help you explore that and treat you like an adult in the process. GPT-3, I think, just wasn't capable of getting that right. But GPT-4, I think we can get to do this.
By the way, if you could just speak to the leap from GPT-4 to GPT-4 from 3.5 from 3, is there some technical leaps, or is it really focused on the alignment?
No, it's a lot of technical leaps in the base model. One of the things we are good at OpenAI is finding a lot of small wins and multiplying them together. And each of them maybe is like a pretty big secret in some sense, but it really is the multiplicative impact of all of them and the detail and care we put into it that gets us these big leaps. And then, it looks like to the outside, like, oh, they just probably like did one thing to get from 3 to 3.5 to 4. It's like hundreds of complicated things.
So tiny little thing with the training, with the like everything, with the data organization.
How we like collect the data, how we clean the data, how we do the training, how we do the optimizer, how we do the architect, like so many things.